Every day, the world is getting more and more polluted. In the last year, there were 7.5 million tons of trash littered. But it's not only just littered. We are chopping down the trees so fast that the forests we chop the trees down in don't even stand a chance because we chop them down before they have a chance to regrow. But if you think that's rough, you should know that there is more than 2.23 billion millicuries of radiation dumped in the ocean, and that is more than enough to kill 3,500 people. Contrary to the popular belief, we are all affected by climate change. For example, when it snows, it can sometimes reach your knees, but rarely. But back then, it can reach to your waist or even block your entire front door. And that's way bigger than 4 12-inch subs from Subway. But that's not all. If we continue ignoring this issue, we could have the entirety of the Great Coral Reef dead, gone. The snow on top of mountains all melted, and the mountains are now much more prone to landslides, and wildfire seasons start earlier and ends later, and the fires are becoming unstoppable. But these are just barely scratching the surface of what happens when we have climate change. While the earth is heating up, it isn't just the earth that's suffering. Animals such as polar bears, bees, penguins, and salmon are all nearly gone because climate change is destroying their homes, their habitats, their food supply. And if we don't do something soon, then we're going to have to say goodbye to these magnificent creatures that once lived on this planet. What this means is, when the animals go extinct, the food chains in they're in can go completely haywire. And that is bad because some animals like the bees are needed because they can pollinate. And there isn't too many pollinators, but the bees make up a large percentage of them, which means if we lose the bees, we're going to lose a lot more than a species. We're going to lose a lot of food because without the bees, it will be a lot harder for the animals and the plants to spread the pollen because bees usually do all the heavy lifting. But we also have to worry about ourselves because when the ice melts, it releases more water into the oceans, and then the oceans will rise, and more than 50% of the population on Earth live within 35 kilometers of the shoreline from the seas. And that's not good because with global warming, there's going to be a lot higher sea level, and those places will probably have to be replaced with others because they will be flooded. And if we don't do something about that soon, people would be moving inland more, and there would be a lot more flooding in these areas next to the coast. But that isn't the only natural disaster that becomes stronger because of climate change. Cyclones and hurricanes become stronger, and droughts are strong enough that they can just completely wipe out farming lands that were once really fertile. So now you heard that climate change is probably not really good. But then we have a question. What can we do to stop it? Because if we continue on this path, we could lose a lot more than just a lot of land. Some things you can do to reduce your CO2 emissions is by insulating your home so you don't have to use a heater or a cooler during their respective seasons. Another thing you can do is install solar panels, as they reduce the amount of outsourced energy and reduce the amount of fossil fuels you use, which is good because you can save money and you can stay clean. What I think is the most important thing is actually understanding about this. Sure, you may know a little about this, but you probably don't know what's actually happening behind the scenes. It's kind of like you're reading a book, but you only read a chapter and say, I know everything. You should actually finish the book. And that is what is happening right here. No one's finishing it. Everyone's moving on, thinking they know everything, but you don't. You should do some more research into this and find ways you can help do it yourself. And you should also inform others about this too. So go tell your friends and family. If we don't act now, there will be no more time tomorrow.